Hello, I'm teacher Amanda with Dada.abc.com, and I am here to make a video today for you about being successful with Dada.abc.com in your interview process and your application process. Here are 10 easy steps to help you be successful when applying for Dada.abc.com. And this is kind of the process that you will go through as you go through the hiring process, and kind of my experience from what I've done with the company. Step 1. Submit a professional resume. While this seems very simple, many people forget. You do not need all the bells and whistles. Make sure it is concise, to the point, and that it has your work history. Step 2. Make sure to submit a professional photograph. That doesn't mean that you need to go out and pay someone to take a professional photograph of you. I simply mean make sure that you look professional in the photograph. Make sure that your background is clean, that you're cleaned up, that your outfit is appropriate, and that you're representing yourself well as a teacher. Step number 3. After submitting your application, your photograph, and submitting it on the Dada.abc.com website, you need to wait and watch for an email. The email can take up to 3 weeks and sometimes a little bit longer. There's several applicants that are applying for Dada.abc.com because it is a really great position. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you are watching your email. Step 4. Once you receive an email, you'll be asked to set up a time with HR via Skype or WeChat in order to have an interview with them. And that brings us to step 5. Step 5 is that when your HR person finally contacts you and you're in your interview, you're going to be asked some questions. You're going to be asked about your internet speed. This is one of the first things that they want because they want to make sure that your internet can properly stream to China. Because if it doesn't, classes are going to be frustrating for you and they're going to be frustrating for your student. You need a hardwired connection of at least 10 megabytes per second download and 2 megabytes per second upload. The only time that you can have a wireless connection is via a Mac, and then you need to have all bars of wireless connection. So this is important to remember. There are other companies out there that do allow 4G, but Dada.abc.com is not one of them. They want to provide their students with the most quality experience possible, and not just their students, but you as well. If you're trying to stream off of a 4G connection, unfortunately, it's not going to work well, and it's going to cause problems for you teaching, and it's going to be frustrating, and it's going to cause problems for your students. And that's not something that we want any of us to deal with or our students to deal with. Step number 6 is the actual interview process. Now, the actual interview process, you are going to be face-to-face on Skype or WeChat, and you're going to be talking to the interviewer. It is important to have a headset for this. This is my number 1 tip. Make sure you have a headset that is clear, that is you're able to have noise canceling if possible, because when you're being interviewed, your interviewer is in a room with several other people that are being interviewed or giving interviews. So it can get a little bit loud, and sometimes it can be difficult to hear. So it's important to have a headset. It's also important for you to have a microphone so that they are able to hear you clearly. Another important thing is your background. I don't think you want your first impression from the person interviewing you is to be that I have a mess in the background, my kids are running around, my husband is walking past in his underwear. These are things you don't want your interviewer to see, so make sure that you are in a quiet, clean, clear environment. Step 7. If you make it to step 7, that means that you're doing pretty good. You've made it through the interview process, and now they're going to start your initial training. The initial training simply means that you're going to go and you're going to be able to get a login and get into the software and be able to see what's going on with the software, what it looks like, how to use it, and how to conduct a class. Now, this is very important because of step 8. Step 8, you set up your trial class, your first student. So you actually get to teach a real student who is a prospective student for Dada.abc.com. This is your chance to shine. This is your chance to be a great teacher. So once you get your trial class set up, it's time to prep. The prep that you're going to need to do for your initial student is to make sure that you look at all the slides. Make sure that you're prepared to teach the lesson. Your lesson will be 15 minutes. So you want to make sure that you have enough content to make it through those 15 minutes. Be prepared for just about everything. Trial classes can be anything from a student who really understands English to a student who barely understands it. Those are the kind of things that you are going to be facing as a teacher with data. You're going to get trial students sometimes, and you aren't going to know their level always. Now, once you're a teacher for a while, you'll have regular students, but when your regular students cancel, it's a great opportunity for you to earn a little bit of extra money. So the trial classes are great. So, things that you need to be successful in a trial class. Number one thing, props. So make sure that you have lots of props and things to keep your student engaged. Having a student that is engaged and learning and talking is very important. Make sure to avoid incidental language. If you're talking to a student who doesn't know very much English, it's important to use similar or the same word structures constantly. So you might say, I see a dog, or I see a cat. It's also important to use TPR. I see you. My name is Teacher Amanda. What's your name? And then have your hand up to your ear so you are listening. You're listening to hear them talk. You're pointing at them and saying, I want to hear you. So these are things to keep in mind in your trial class. You want your students to be engaged and excited, and you need to make sure you're excited, because if you are excited, it is contagious. Step number 9. Step number 9 is actually teaching the trial class. Now you want to make sure that you enter your trial class about 2 minutes to a minute and a half early. This gives you time to get in and make sure that you're aware of the software. Make sure everything's working. Make sure that you are logged in and ready to go. Now, a lot of times your student will be there. If I get on a little early and my student is already there, the first thing I do is I greet them. Hello, my name is Teacher Amanda. What is your name? And I wait and I listen. It's a very good time to get to know your student and get to know where their English level is. While your lessons are already planned, you need to be able to differentiate. If that student does not know a lot of English, that is where you are going to have to say, okay, what can I do with this lesson to make sure that student is comfortable, that student is having fun, and that student is learning. Once you finish your lesson, you'll end your lesson right when it says 0. You'll push bookmark, you'll push end class, and you will be done. Your whole lesson will be recorded, so HR will review it later. The final step, of course, if you are hired, is your contract of hiring. Once you are hired with dataabc.com, you will be able to download the software, you'll be able to log into the portal, you'll be able to look at your contract, go through the test or pre-test so that you know what to do and understand what your expectations are as a teacher, and sign your contract. And then you'll be part of the dataabc.com team. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it gave you information to make you feel more comfortable applying to be a teacher with dataabc.com. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Also below in the information section is my employee referral code. This helps you get a referral from me to be a teacher. If you have any questions, again, feel free to ask, and thanks for watching.